Okay. Good
Hey,
Dominic.
hey,
Nelson
Nicola.
Ashley.
I've got to get this right. Nicola, Todd, Morgan, in full
Hooray!
effect. Here we are, the two of us once again. Happiness is easy.
We
Podcast.
we are back. We are back again. And Dominic, I was thinking we've got all the names. You're Dominic Nelson Ashley. I'm Nicola Todd-Morgan. What are your names about?
Very good question. Now, my father was called Dominic. His grandfather, no, my father was called Dominic, and my grandfather was called Dominic. So that's where that comes from. My middle name is Junior, because my dad's senior. Okay. Um, I have Paul, which was my confirmation name, which I used in Dominic JP Nelson Ashley, and the Nelson bit of the family name was the name of my great grandfather, and my great grandfather brought up my father, and so my father, in honor of him, combined the two together. So my dad's name is Dominic Nelson Ashley, but his father and my grandfather's name is Dominic Ashley. So there are sections of my family that still call me Ashley, not Nelson Ashley. So
Yeah.
that's how my name came to be. And names are very important, aren't they? They carry so much meaning. It's often said that you give a name that you give your child is about hope, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you never know how they're going to turn out. And then how often does it that the name that a child is given, they grow into it, or later on you go like, oh, that name really suits them.
Yeah.
So I think there are two elements there, aren't there?
Yeah. Yeah. Because as you know, Dominic, I have recently changed my surname because um, women tend to change their surnames when they get married. Well, that's the convention. You don't have to go along with that, of course, and a lot of my friends haven't. I did change mine because Morgan was just easier than my previous surname. It's just like everyone can spell it. It's fine.
Hmm.
I've recently combined it with my grandmother's maiden name to reflect my Celtic heritage and also to distinguish myself from the other writer, Nicola Morgan. So to make my name a bit different because we kept getting confused. And people kept saying
Hmm.
to me, oh, I've read some of your books. And I was thinking, I bet you haven't. And because she writes about quite similar things to me and does similar things
Mm.
to me, I needed to distinguish myself from her and the former
Mm.
cabinet minister as well.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah,
That is the strength of names, isn't it? It's a case of like you want to be distinctive. And I'm fortunate in the fact that, if you type in Dominic Nelson Ashley into Google, you're only gonna find me.
yeah. Oh,
I mean,
that's the
there used to
position
be
that I've now
two.
put myself in.
There used to be two, and that was my father. And then he's not around anymore, so it's just me. And it was interesting because I was a board member. I was a director of a charity, and they, obviously they got to do the searches on people, and they came back with all these questions like, how long have I been in the UK? Da, 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 where I was here, and then, after a while it dawned on me. Actually, it got me and my father mixed up because my father, he lived in the last 20 years of his life in the Caribbean, running a wine business. What it's kind of like.
They
So
were
it's like after a while, I just realized, actually, are you getting the two of us confused?
were they were getting you mixed up with your
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, because he had a, it's when obviously our names are the same, Dominic, Nelson, Ashley, but then our middle names are different. And he's as soon as you look at the date of birth, you can go like, oh, actually, these are different people. But if you just do the cursory, like, oh, it's a very unique name. There's only one of them. But also, I suppose, they're not necessarily expecting, you know, how many Dominic Nelson Ashleys are you going to expect to be going like, oh yes, and applying to be in positions of, board members?
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, that was the only time there's been an issue, I suppose. But I suppose which is similar to almost similar to what you had. It's like people are going like, "Oh, I've read your books." Well, no, you haven't. Oh, all those bad reviews. Yeah, they weren't all aimed at me. They were aimed at the author.
Well, it was worse when Nicola Morgan was in the cabinet as a Conservative minister because I was
Yeah,
certainly
yeah,
not taking responsibility for
yeah,
anything.
yeah, 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 yeah. And if you two ever had the same haircut, I'm sure I saw you.
Yeah, quite. Anyway, we digress because we're not actually going to talk about names and identity today, or that wasn't our plan. But
Hmm.
it's an interesting topic, maybe one we can look at in future. Um, we were going to talk about rest because Dominic's just been on holiday. And from time to time, Dominic just suddenly says to me, I've got to get out of here. I'm going on holiday. And he and his wife go on holiday, which I think is a great idea. And I wanted to talk to you about that.
Well, as we've mentioned in the past, you know, um, and as somebody at my kung fu training said to me, like, oh, your body's been through a lot. And he wasn't referring to the kung fu; he was referring to the cancer treatment, etc. Um, One of the things that I urge everybody to do is to understand their body, because health is wealth. And basically, what I do a countdown. It's like, okay, uh, when it gets to 10 out of 10 for my level of tiredness, it's too far. So I said to my missus, like, I'm 2 out of 10 in tiredness. We need to sort this out. We need to go on holiday or do something for me to get the re-energizing that I need. 3 out of 10, like nothing's happening. 4 out of 10, nothing's happening. 5 out of 10, nothing's happening. 6 out of 10, nothing's happening. I said like, okay, just book it something anywhere. Let's do something. And then when I got to eight, tiredness 8 out of 10, I said, right, when I get to 9 out of 10, I'm going to bed for 7 days, and that's it. I'm going to bed. And I won't be getting out of bed for 7 days. And uh, on a Friday, I said, right, I'm going to bed now. And I went to bed. And on Saturday, I was still in bed. And she goes like, what am I doing? I said, well, I told you I was going to go to bed for 7 days and I'm not getting out because I'm tired. I said, like, I've been with you for over 30 years. Have you ever known me to like, lie or, something like this? So I just stayed in bed. And then on the Tuesday, well, she found something on the Monday. On the Tuesday, we left just for 7 days. Um, but I feel very fortunate actually that I'm in a position to be able to do that because when I was younger, and I've spoken to a lot of people about this, you get on that treadmill of work or responsibilities, and that you go like, right, I have to do things to keep a roof over my head and my family's head, and did I have responsibilities to look after this person or that person or these things, and you can't just drop everything. And also life moves so fast that you have to consciously say, right, I'm going to pause everything, take a deep breath, and take stock. The majority of people don't do that because of the hectic nature of life and the pressures, external pressures put on us. And then so many times it then comes, oh, it's too late. I was
Mm.
speaking to someone the other day, and he was saying that he's got a pain in his kidneys, and he's like hurts his back and da da da. I said, well, you need to get down to the doctors ASAP because you don't know what it is. It could be, you know, uh, having a brief chat to him is going like, oh, he's had back issues in the past for like most of his life. I said, okay, it could be that he's self-employed, runs his own business. So okay, it could be pulled a muscle from lifting all the boxes, etc. Stress, he could have a kidney infection. Well, they go through a whole heap of things, and then at the end of it, it's going like, well, hey, I'll get after I've gone to these meetings and that meeting, then he'll go down the doctors. I said, well, you can't do that because you never know. It could be something. It could be
It's something
something.
really serious that needs
It could be
attention.
something very, very, very serious. Because the worst two words in the world are "if only." Oh, if only I had gone down the doctors on time. If only I hadn't, driven when I was tired. If only. Da, 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 da. If
Yeah,
only.
yeah. But
So,
I think we often wear, or I think societally, we often wear exhaustion as a badge of honor, as if
mhm,
being tired means we're doing something really productive. Um,
mhm,
and the absence of rest actually is isn't the same as productivity. It's
mhm.
the opposite. It's the opposite. And if you run yourself into the ground, you might just die.
Yes, and then you'll be replaced, and then you will
Yeah.
be
And
replaced.
well done, no one's going to be thanking you then, are they? they
Hmm.
so I think you're so right in saying to your friend, to look after your physical health because,
Mm.
well, what else have you got? I
Exactly.
like your
And
phrase, health is wealth.
yeah. And the other point is, if you die, um, the people in your will spend your money. It will spend your money. So it'd be better to be around and enjoy yourself now, um, and maximize. But it is the case of the exhaustion as a badge of honor. It's And if you think about it, how many times if you could actually stop and go, right, take a pause and go like, right, okay, you have a task to do. You you run yourself ragged doing it, and then the final product that you produce isn't as good as it could have been. Whilst if you had just done some stuff, work towards it, taken a break, recharge your batteries, then go again, then you'll have a much greater productivity, much more energy, and you'll get better results.
Yeah. A really important life lesson that I learned when I was in my sort of late 20s. It was after 9/11 when there'd been an attack on the States. And so lots of the companies were getting nervous at that point because they didn't know what the economy was going to do. And I just
Mm-hmm.
started a new job at a new law firm, and they decided to get rid of the new people who'd come in. And so I got called into personnel, as they called it then, now it'd be HR,
Mm-hmm.
um, and told that, I could go home. Um, my job was done. Um, and they gave me 3 months' salary, which thank you very much. But they, I, I had been so stressed about all the work and all the cases that I was dealing with, and I couldn't quite take in as I got in the taxi to go to the station. Oh my God, none of that is my problem anymore. Someone
Mm-hmm.
else will deal with it. And that was
Mm-hmm.
the first time that I realized that I could be absent from a situation and someone else would have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was quite a realization. And it's never left me that I thought, oh my God, all those nights that I was awake worrying about all these cases that I was dealing with. And now I can just walk away and they are not my problem. Someone else will deal with it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a bit like dealing with your own mortality.
Mm-hmm.
None of this, everyone else will pick it up.
Mm, mm.
Actually, how much do I really, really need to worry? So, when did you properly relax when you were on your break? How long did it take?
Went there for 7 days. maybe day five,
Yeah,
because it I got to the stage, I said I was going to go to bed for 7 days, right? I went abroad, and basically I stayed in bed for 9 hours. So the sun was out. Oh yeah, it was warmer. I just stayed in bed until got the energy back. So ideally, I should have gone. If I went on the Tuesday, if I'd gone on the Friday, I would have had a much better time. But ultimately, I did get relaxation and rest.
yeah, yeah.
But also, I suppose it was maybe. But if I'd had more energy when I went on holiday, I probably would have rushed around and gone like, oh, let's look at this, let's look at this, and then come back tired. So
Done the same
um,
thing again.
done the same thing again. But I tell you, some of these things are so ingrained in us. So I came back still tired. Went to went to martial arts training. Had a bit of a twinge in my back, and I wasn't going to go. So training. So the next session was um, yesterday, and I was going like, got an injury. Should I go? Should I not go? Should I go? Should I not go? And I was going like, okay, in my head. I've made a commitment to go, and by deep down, I know I'm too tired to go. Right, but we've got this thing inside us like, oh, man, I do is, I've said I'd do it, I'd go on a regular basis. I'm gonna go, and I've been going twice a week, and then my ultimate time is to go 3 times a week. And ultimately I didn't go, like, too tired, my back still giving me jip. So I said that there's a WhatsApp group. I sent a message. It says like, okay, I can't make it. Do you know what happened? You know what? Even the instructor was ill. So the instructor wasn't going either because he sent a message like, "Who's going?" And like, and this is a guy who's been doing it for like 35 years, 40 years, hard as nails, and he's going like, "Oh, I'm full of cold." I was just checking who's going to go, and there's nobody going. and you know, and you know what? I woke up. What time do I wake? I normally wake up anyway, but I woke up about 2:30, and in my mind, I was still playing in my head. Oh, I've let myself down by not going. So that's how ingrained some of this stuff is. Like, okay, work, you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. And even the instructor doesn't cancelled, my brain is still going like, hey, I should have been in a strong enough condition to go. I should have tried a little bit harder. That's the message that's playing in my head.
Yeah.
So
See,
yeah.
this is what we have as a driver, isn't it? It's work
Mm-hmm.
harder, work harder, work harder. But we've we have got to have rest, and I think it's really great the way you and your wife just from time to time just go right. We're going. We're, we're going somewhere because it's at least the second or maybe the third time since I've known you that you've said we're going somewhere. We don't really care where,
Mm-hmm.
and you go and you take that break. And but that's why I was asking you, how long did it actually take you to wind down? Because you've got to get your nervous system to calm down, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
But
because you've got
there's
to
there's
get
a
back to baseline.
yeah, you got to get back to baseline. But there is a deeper reason why that we when we go like, okay, need to go on holiday, have to go. Because there's been instances where, my body said, hey, need a break. And for whatever reason, haven't done it, haven't taken the time off work, just gone like, I know people, and you know people as well, we've gone like, right, okay, I'm tired now, but let me just, but my holiday is booked for like 2 weeks' time. I'll just push it, I'll keep it going, and then when I get to the holiday, then I'll relax. And then your body collapses before you go on holiday. And then so you're ill before you go on holiday. When you're on holiday, you're ill. And then when you come back, you're still ill because you didn't take the break at the necessary time. And that has happened to me and people I know too often.
So many
So
times.
now it's come to the time when I get particular stage, then I have to do it because I know the consequences of not doing it. And I think one of the reasons why I actually got cancer, or was it of it, these all things of like, okay, I'm a black person, and then the type of cancer I had is a higher chances if you're black, etc. But I don't drink and I don't smoke. But in the past, I have pushed my body for work. I've done 3 jobs. Get up at the crack of dawn, come back, and leave when it's dark in the morning, come back and it's dark. You keep going, 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 and like, okay, you want to do things. You keep going, 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 and go like, okay, I'm feeling tired. I'll take a break later on, and then my body has collapsed. And you can only do that sort of thing so often before you get the hints. There is a expression I'm sure I've used it before, like take shortcuts, get cut short.
Mm.
If you don't take those warning signs, you will be out of here earlier than you're supposed to be. Um, and I'll just add something else. I had a friend, and he was a teacher, and he worked really hard, and he doted on his partner as well, and he was feeling unwell, right? And I can't remember whether he was the head teacher or not. He might have at least been the head of department, so he had a lot of responsibility, and he wasn't feeling well. He still got up and went to work, even though he had a fever all night. Came home, sat in a chair, didn't get out of it. Right? His wife at the time was she was pregnant. She lost the baby. Um, so that's a two losses devastation right there. And you know, all all that, everything's gone. Everything he isn't around anymore. Um, the his wife lost the baby. She went on and remarried, got a new family now, but that thing still lingers. And why did that happen? It happened because he was tired, but that thing of like, okay, I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. I'm going to ignore my body. I'm going to ignore the signs. Um, and he hasn't done it, and that has stuck with me. It's like, oh, because what happened to him was when you look at it, it was avoidable. It's like, okay, you're run down, you were ill, you still went to work, and what happens? Yeah, he's died. Whether he was a head of department or a head teacher, I can't remember. But the school gets a new person.
Yeah,
To,
water
to
comes in to fill the gaps. You're not indispensable. No one's indispensable,
no,
only to
no one.
yourself. So this rest stuff is really important. And
Mm-hmm,
if we don't have recovery time, we
mm,
get into a state of chronic stress,
mm-hmm,
and that opens you to illness, to disease, and but also to not have the chance to have a positive emotion. Not to feel to not have
mm-hmm,
time for positive emotions or to create
mm-hmm.
them and to have fun.
Yeah. Mm.
I nearly swore then.
Oh, oh.
I nearly
And,
said,
and
oh, for fuck's sake.
and also, and if you want to go down the route of, right, I want to be productive, I've got things to do. If you don't get the proper rest, your decision making goes awry.
Yeah,
So, you know, on any metric you look at it, getting the rest is fundamental.
yeah. There's been some really good books recently written, and I haven't read them actually, about wintering, um, about the idea of allowing yourself kind of like a fallow season, like
Mm,
when I live in the countryside, so all around I see fields that sometimes look like nothing's happening.
mm,
But what they have to do there is they leave the field to do nothing for a
mm,
period of time, and that gets more nutrients in, and then they can use it again. But they have to
mm,
allow it to rest, otherwise it's exhausted. It can't do it.
mm,
And we're only part of that system. You know,
mm,
we're the same. So unless we give ourselves that wintering
mm,
um, season, we have that time where we're not being so productive, or and we need to sort of weave that in. It
mm.
might work very seasonally, where maybe we do less in winter. I don't know. um
Well, that's very interesting because there's that thing of like, okay, society has progressed. I won't say advanced, has progressed. It's moved. We have lights now. We don't have to be, incumbent on the changing of the seasons. Oh, the summer days are longer. Oh, it's cold in winter. We have heating. We can in our heads we go like, okay, we can circumvent all that stuff.
Put
But
the lights on, turn the
ultimately,
heating up.
yeah, ultimately we are creatures. We're living, breathing things. We're supposed to have the ups and the downs. We're supposed to go like, oh, the season is like this. So we're supposed to act accordingly. You can only game the system for so long before your body goes like, things are not right. They've done the research on people on 0 hours contracts. Where it's like you never know, they never know when they're going to have the job or, what their hours are going to be. And they wake up at particular times. And, the effect on mental health is crazy. Even people who have regular hours, and they've got stable jobs, but the time of those jobs is like night work. That affects, has a great effect on mental health. So just the mere fact that, okay, those other factors, when you come into Maslow's hierarchy of needs, of like, okay, they've got the money, they've got, the stable employment, etc. But the mere fact that the job is at night, so when they're at home and it's their time off, it's the daytime, and that's when they're supposed to be, their days are the wrong way round. That has a discernible impact.
I should think, I know we can't talk about your son because it's his story to tell, but I
Mm,
should think your son's suffering from this as a junior doctor at the moment, isn't he? Because I know that junior doctors, they get all the night work, because by the time
mm,
someone makes it to the senior ranks, they normally
mm,
work fairly moderate, you know,
mm,
reasonable hours. I know
mm.
my friends who are consultants certainly have most of their work during the day. Um, they're not normally doing night shifts. That's what the juniors do. So yeah, you're probably seeing that with him, and you don't know
Mm.
anything about him at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that is his story to tell. But there's that thing of when you're younger, you can cope with these variations more, and the older you get, the less you can cope with it. So, obviously, I can't speak for him, but to generalize, the the crazy hour shifts, etc., you can cope with it when you're younger. The older you get, the more your body's just gonna go, no, no.
Yeah, yeah. So um, I don't even know where you went on holiday. Where did you go?
I went to a place in Spain. I don't even know where it is. It was she booked it, but it was strange because I get the distinct impression it was a village not so long ago, and that's rapidly expanded because it's got a nice beach. Because literally I spoke to three people the whole time I was there. It was really cool. And they had the street names like Miami, San Francisco. Right? And all the buildings look quite modern. So I got this distinct impression it was once a village and they've had a rapid expansion and the council have gone, right, we've got some new streets. We need to give it names.
Let's
We
give
don't
them
give it
American
anything.
names.
Let's go. Let's give it cosmopolitan names like San Francisco, Miami. Like what?
Brilliant. It's really funny. So once you got out of bed and you relaxed and your metabolism changed and everything and you got the rest that you needed,
Mm.
did you start feeling more positive emotions like calm and curiosity and awe or relaxation or love or did it change? Did it change once you got to
What what changed is that my brain felt like it started working again. So I had lots of creative ideas, and I just jotted them down on the phone, as you know, I was going like, oh, da 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 da, and thinking about this particular thing I've been working on, that particular thing I've been working on, and I've written it all down, and then I came back to the cold, and my brain shut down again.
oh no
But not as much as it had done before. So there's that thing of that seasonal thing that we've been talking about. It's like, okay, it's colder, it's darker. My brain has gone, it's wintertime, it's dark. You need
yeah
to really be in hibernation mode.
yeah yeah
So yeah, being in the sun, and having like 9 hours uh rest. Um and it's quite funny actually, it's like aside, is that my son sent me a WhatsApp message, and I sent him back a message like, "I'm not available right now." Right? And he sent me a message back. It's like when you get a out of office message response from your dad, like a smiley face.
Uh,
so
but
so yeah.
maybe I should start doing that with my kids because they phone me. Well, particularly one of them phones me at midnight because in her body clock that's quite early,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
she'll think we can chat till 1, which I do.
Mm.
But
Mm.
I would have been asleep for hours before.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so what I was thinking about is I think it's really great that you are recognizing your need for holidays and everything like that. And I should take a leaf out of your book with that. But I was wondering about like micro holidays of going,
Mm.
I need a
Mm.
break for a couple of days, switch the phone off, make yourself unavailable. I'm doing whatever. Do you think that's a good idea? Would you do that?
I think it's a fantastic idea because I actually took my went abroad on a holiday, but I know that's not necessarily available for everybody, right? Just go like, okay, let's go. But you can take so that you don't need the big, you know, all right, I need to go now, otherwise everything's going to fall apart. The micro holiday, or in fact, the holiday, I'm not quite sure what the right word is because if you can if you lock yourself away, turn off the phone, say you're not available for stuff, that, and then shutting down the external noise. All those are a benefit. Yeah, let's call it micro holidays for what until we come up with a word we can patent. Um, put it on t-shirts. Hey, we're going to what you need to do is shuba the wop, and and that involves
Hashtag me
uh,
time.
med- yeah, that involves meditation and a particular blend of herbs and spices and vodka and prosecco and all into a great blend. No, but sometimes because how do people get their energy back or refuel? Because the tradition is you work hard all through the week, and then you go out, expend all your energy drinking and smoking or whatever, which doesn't actually recharge you. That just distracts you. That's another form of tiredness, and then you go back to work again.
Yeah,
So
that's
there is
bonkers.
there's
That's absolutely bonkers. I currently I only have Sundays off. I work every other day. And I always really love Sundays. I absolutely love it. But I just get really into it, and then I want Monday off as well. I think I really like that, um, because I think you start building. You when you have the time off, you start building the positive emotions. You start noticing the things that
Hmm.
really matter, and
Hmm.
I'm wondering what can people do to kind of make micro holidays into their life. I suppose most people do take Saturday and Sunday off, don't they? A lot of people don't though.
A lot of people don't because shops are open now, all those sort of things. I think the hardest thing is convincing yourself and other people that you're taking this break, right? Because you've got to convince yourself and ring fence it. Otherwise, people will chip away at it. Oh, you look like you're not doing anything. Yeah, I'm recharging. You look like you're not doing anything. Oh well, just do this. Just do that. You know, and like your phone, if your phone rings, you're automatically, even if it's a text, your brain's going to jump to that.
It buzzes and you pay attention to it.
You
Yeah,
pay attention because they're designed that way, and if your children call, your automatic thing of like, I'm a parent, it could be
of
something
course.
important.
Of course.
It
I would
could,
never not take that. I would all
especially if it's midnight.
yeah.
Your first thought isn't going to be, oh,
Are they in danger?
yeah, the first thing is like they're calling me at midnight. Oh, even if it's like they usually call you at midnight, and it's like you've got into the routine of that. First thought is going to be like, it's midnight. What's going on?
Are they safe? Are they safe?
Are they safe? You know that so that cortisol, jumps in. Pow! It's like then you try after even after you have a conversation and everything's cool. How is it for you to get back to sleep? And
Yeah,
if you want to get into biorhythms and the way of your body, it's like that's out of kilter.
yeah, yeah, big time. Well, I don't think we're ever going to be off duty for that one, are we?
No,
We're
no, we're
always
never going to be off duty. So, but if you need, switching off the phone is a strong one, isn't it? There's that thing about that's the thing. Whilst I was away, there was no noise pollution. That was the weird thing because most of the time there's some sort of noise going on. You'll hear like the phone will be going, there'll be some sort of noise, car outside or whatever. There'll be some sort of thing that will subliminally disrupt you.
mm,
So for actually going to like, right, I'm going to ring fence time. I'm going to do nothing. Well, to the outside world, it appears like I'm doing nothing. I'm uncontactable, right? First thing people are going to think, are you having a mental breakdown? But what you're actually doing is you're preventing a mental breakdown.
that's such a great idea, and I think maybe people should consider how to fit micro holidays into their lives. Like if I think about my Sunday, that I just had the most perfect Sunday ever the other day. Um, I was even playing what's he called? Easy like Sunday morning. I even played
Oh
that.
yeah,
Who's that by? Is
that's
that
Lionel Richie and the Commodores.
yeah? I even played the music. Um,
Mm.
and I did a bit of watercolor painting and
Wow.
breakfast, and we went out for a walk with the dogs in the woods, and everything was slow. And I thought, well, you could actually decide from time to time to have a slow morning
Mm.
where you just
Actually,
don't
yeah.
rush into the day. Just not all the time, not all the time. I'm not saying every day or anything, but just from time to time, just a little tiny micro holiday where
You just remind me of something. I have to take a I have to take a micro holiday, right? Not because like when I say I have to, it's like I don't like because I'm tired, but I have to take a micro holiday. Tell you why? Because I've been selected to have my portrait painted, and I have to sit in one spot for 3 hours. So that is, as part, so that process, that's a micro holiday, isn't it? I'm gonna have to be there 3 hours, stay still, like no phones, no chatting. I'm just gonna have to sit there like that,
Just
deep
being.
meditation for 3 hours.
Got to
There you
be.
go, micro
Really.
holiday.
Just being. Just being. Um,
Yeah, and the picture, the portrait will reflect my state. So that would be quite interesting. What when people see the portrait, what vibe will they get off it? Like, will my inner consciousness be reflected in the in?
oh, that's interesting. My daughter's a really good portrait artist. I'll ask her about that. What difference it makes about someone's mood.
Mm,
And how that uh reflects. But yeah, so in our productivity obsessed culture,
mm.
maybe rest is actually self-respect. Maybe just
Oh,
being is
that's strong.
quiet
That's
rebellion,
strong. Okay,
resistance.
we just have to pause that there. We're going to pause that there. Run that thing about the self-respect again.
Well, just maybe it is for self-respect if you just stop and you just allow yourself to be.
You know
Maybe that's
what?
an act of self-respect.
That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Nicola Todd-Morgan comes through with the results again. That's it. It's all about self-respect. How much do you respect you? How much do you respect you? Do you rate yourself highly enough to go like, you know what? My body's telling me, stop it all now, or
I'm in
bad
the
things are going to happen. Are you going to, do you respect yourself enough to go like, hey, I'm listening to my body. I'm not going to listen to somebody else. My body says, now's the time to take a break. Do you respect your, that all comes back into the psychological aspects.
Yep, I don't think it's luxury. I think it's resistance.
Mm, mm, that's it.
Rest
That's
is
it.
resistance. I think that's
Rest
our
is
mug for this
resistance.
week. Rest is
That's it.
resistance. We always end up with a mug,
Yeah,
print on a mug. And I think
yeah,
rest is resistance.
yeah. That's it. Rest is self-respect. Rest is resistance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. That's it. As usual, we
We got it going
always,
on.
always, 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 always give you hardcore techniques you can use in your life. That's it. We've for the length of this program, we've talked about rest. And what we always do is summarize it. Always, no matter where we go, we always come back to the end and we go like we've broken it down to little nuggets that you can take away, and that if you just have these little nuggets be your mantra, run through your head, and that will make your life better and give you more happiness. Rest is resistance. Wow,
Yeah,
that's it.
absolutely. So what people could think about is what is one small thing that they could do that will help them restore themselves. But how are they going to rest? Because rest is resistance, rest is self-respect.
Mm, mm. And if you want to go extreme, get your portrait painted. Sit around for 3 hours. Because then you can say, well, you're not doing anything. Actually, I'm getting my portrait painted. There we go. Let's wrap it up there.
Dominic's best advice.
We've got the top tips for you. There we go.
Get a
That's been
portrait painted.
us.
Ask my daughter.
Hey, why not? Why not indeed? Why not indeed?
Brilliant. Lovely to speak with you, Dominic, as usual.
hmm
And
hmm
happiness is easy.